Dun, 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 dun. That could only be one movie. 1976 Rocky. We are here to mutate it tonight. I am Stephen Billings, your host. With me, as always, is Andrew Cabral. And this time, our special guest judge, Tony Meaches. How you doing, man?
Doing well, thank you. Once again, thank you for inviting me on.
No problem, man. It was fun having you as a player. I think on our last episode, doing Home Alone. That's one of my favorite ones so far. You guys, please go check that out. Home Alone got turned into, well, I won't tell you. I'll let you guys watch it. But all right. So tonight, Rocky 1976 won Best Picture. Our first Best Picture winner on this show. Andrew, is this fond to your heart? The Rocky story?
I mean, the Rocky franchise has been around probably several generations now. It's always been a favorite since I was very little, and then of course revisiting it over and over and over the years. Needless to say, you didn't really have to rewatch this to judge this episode, but I did it anyway just to have an excuse to rewatch it. Exactly. Like you said, it's an interesting here on Movie Mutations because it's one of the movies that is kind of an all-time great. So it's almost sacrilege to mutate it, but we're breaking all the rules here.
Oh no, I don't. Yeah, that's why I do this. I mean, it gives me a reason to do something dirty, and this time we're doing one of the greats. And Tony, before I was gonna say something else, but Tony, how do you feel about Rocky? Is this a favorite of yours?
It's definitely one of my favorites. I'm not a huge fan of sports films, to tell you the truth, but this one's an exception. It is amazing. Okay. Such a great screenwriting debut by Stallone, but it's a very well-made movie altogether. And of course, it amassed such a huge following, and it had 5 sequels after it. So it's pretty.
Well, that leads me perfectly. I was gonna say, is there a favorite amongst the Rocky franchise for you guys?
All right, I'm excluding the first one because the first one's a masterpiece. Yeah, I have to say. I gotta say, number 3 is probably my favorite.
Really, the Clubber Lang story.
Clubber Lang, that's probably my favorite.
To be honest, I'm with Tony on this. I was gonna go number 3 as well because that movie is the classic fall and then the re-rise of Rocky, which is kind of iconic for all of our folk heroes. So I'd go with that one.
I love that one too. But this is the way I've always loved 2, but the thing is the kind of cheat. Is that I look at 1 and 2 as one movie. It's kind of the Kill Bill part 1 and 2 kind of thing.
I agree with that.
I think 1 and 2 is one large story because obviously it's the same fighters fighting, but also like there's this like feels like the first movie it can be seen as one thing, but really the story isn't complete for Apollo Creed until the second movie. So I think that they're great as like just one movie. And so, but part 2 is my favorite. I love part 2. That fight. I mean, I think even Stallone personally does a better job at filming the fights in that film than John G. Alverson did in the first movie. But yeah, I love it. But we're talking about Rocky 76 tonight, and we need to get to the players so that we can start this mutation, guys. So we will see you in a little bit. All right, so with us tonight, we got our 2 mutators. One of them obviously really loves Rocky. He's got a poster and a T-shirt, and he's shadow boxing at the same time. That is Mr. Film Critic from Florida, Dan Skip Allen. What's up, man?
I'm doing great. It's a little cold where I am, but I'm here with some buddies of mine, my movie mutators, homeboys, Andrew and Professor Perkins, Mr. Stephen Billings, and
I don't know what you're talking about.
A really good buddy of mine named Jeremy Adams. If anybody's going to be able to talk about Rocky, it's going to be him because he knows his movies.
Wow. That's nice that you're playing it nice up front, and then you're going to kill him in the game. I get it. I see your strategy. And he's over there talking about cold when he's like, I think all the rest of us, except for Tony, are like in blizzards right now. He's, but Jeremy, this is your basically. I mean, you played only one other game other than this. Are you feeling good about this game? You confident about talking about mutating Rocky tonight?
I'm not that confident. Taking, like you guys said in the top, something as perfect as Rocky and trying to find a way to mutate it and look at it in a different way and with different actors, it's pretty daunting. But I'm going to give it my best shot, and I just know I'll always have fun with my buddy Dan here. I didn't have the Rocky gear, but I at least have Warner Brothers, so I feel like I'm
Hey,
somewhat in the spirit tonight, so we can get our Rocky on.
Yeah, the closest I got to Rocky Spirit, I have a program of the Rocky IV here,
Nice.
original program, and original pressing of the first Rocky, the score here.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yes. So
Nice.
there's my Rocky memorabilia for tonight. But all right, well, let's not waste any time and let's get into the game. If you've never seen a movie Mutation, what it is we break down this movie into 3 sections. We have the genre round, we have the director round, and then we have the cast. At the beginning of each of these rounds, these guys will be tested on their knowledge of the film at the center of the game and the players involved. So the first round, we will be doing trivia on the events of Rocky 1976. And whoever wins the trivia will get the advantage of picking between one of these 3 genres to pitch Rocky as. It'll either be a possession film, a political thriller, or a road trip comedy. Now, whoever loses in trivia will have 2 other mystery picks to choose from, and we'll get to that when we get to it. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
It's our name. It's our name to answer.
Yes, you can answer. Buzz in with your name. And question number 1 is, and it's first to 5 points.
All right.
Question 1 is, what month and day does the story start at?
Dan.
It's in the Dan.
December 1st.
Incorrect.
Jeremy, December 25th.
You guys are both in the wheelhouse. It's November 25th.
Oh yeah.
Because
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say near the beginning of the movie it's Thanksgiving, but it's literally in the first shot of the movie they show the date. All right.
Really?
Question 2. What is the name of Rocky's goldfish?
Rocky's goldfish.
This is embarrassing.
I'm just gonna say Dan.
Dan?
Goldie.
Incorrect.
I remember all his other pets. I can't think of the fish.
I know,
right
that's
now.
why I chose this one.
I know. Sorry, I don't have anything.
Okay. The name of his goldfish is Moby Dick.
Oh
right.
man.
Yeah, I remember that now.
We all know Cuff and Link.
Yeah.
Moby Dick, yeah.
And
All right.
Butkus the dog.
Butkus, yeah.
Exactly. Question 3. What's the name of the boxer who takes Rocky's locker?
Dan. Spider Rico.
No.
Incorrect.
What?
No, it's on the top of my brain.
Damn it.
Dang it, man. I've even asked this question in trivia before, and I just am blanking on it right now.
Man.
I can't pull it. Dang it.
Okay. The answer is Dipper.
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 I was thinking trigger, rip. I was like, I knew it was an Ibber word.
Yeah, Spider Rico's the first fight that Rocky has at the beginning.
Yeah,
Of the
it's
movie.
Dipper.
Question 4. What boxer hangs on Rocky's apartment wall? What
Jeremy.
boxer is hang? Okay.
Yeah.
Jeremy?
Rocky Marciano.
That's correct.
I had it, Jeremy, just so you know. But
Okay.
you got it.
Just so you know, we're equal here. All right. Question 5. Where do Rocky and Adrian go on their first date?
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
The ice skating rink.
That's correct. Jeremy's up 2-0. Down to question 6. What's the name of Mickey's gym?
Speed. No, Dan. Speed.
No.
I'll just say
Mickey
Mickey's.
Fast Speed. I don't know.
I said Mickey's.
Incorrect. It is Mighty Mix.
Mighty Mix. I knew Mickey was in the name.
Close, Jeremy.
I
Mighty
knew it
Mix.
was some variation of it.
Yeah. All right. Jeremy's still up 2-0. Question 7. According to Mickey, what weakens legs?
Jeremy.
Now, Jeremy got you.
Yeah, women.
Women weakens
What?
legs.
Oh, I thought I had that one. Okay.
Well, I mean, no, I heard him first. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I was ahead, Dan.
yeah.
I hope you're not lagging. I don't know.
Well, I think everybody's lagging for at least on
Right.
my end, but it's it is what it is.
Man, I had that one.
Question 8. What's wrong with the giant poster of Rocky
And
that's
how
hanging
speci-
at the
yeah, I don't know how
Coliseum?
specific you need it. I always get the specifics messed up.
You don't have to get the colors specifically, but what is the deal?
Oh,
I'll say, Dan.
yeah. You
I
The
kind of gave it
trunks
away,
are
but not
wrong.
really.
The trunks are wrong.
But how are they
The
wrong?
color of the trunks are wrong.
In
On
what
the
way?
poster, they're a different color than the ones he's actually wearing in the ring.
They're not different colors.
All right.
It's the inverse. It's the inverse.
Yeah, it's like the stripes on the
Yeah. The
trunks are the
stripes
wrong
are supposed
color.
to. His trunks are supposed to be white with orange stripes. but
Yeah,
it's the other way.
yeah. The stripes on the trunks, the colors are reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Nobody gets it.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't give it to me.
Number 9. Who is Apollo Creed dressed as on his way to the ring?
Dan.
Jeremy. Sorry, Dan.
Jeremy.
How did he beat me on that one? I swear I said it before him that time, but okay.
I'm hoping you're not lagging that bad, buddy. I
Yeah,
feel
that
bad.
must be. I
Yeah.
really must be because I had it. I had that one. But
Okay.
It's George Washington.
It's George Washington.
Sorry.
I mean, we're already ahead in points anyway with the questions.
yeah, I knew he had.
Yeah. Sorry.
We'll ask the last one just for
Yeah.
fun. Question 10. When Adrian gets to the ring in the last moments of the film, what does Rocky ask her?
Hmm.
Dan,
Dan.
do you want to marry me?
No, that's in the second movie.
Yeah.
Well, you might marry me too much.
Yeah. I just thought he asked, "Where are you?" Where is Adrian?
Incorrect. The
Mhm.
question was, he enters the. Paulie helps her get into the ring. She gets into the ring, and he says, "Where's your hat?"
Oh, okay. Forgot that little moment.
Because
All
that
right.
little red hat that she was
Yeah.
wearing falls off on her way
Yeah.
to the ring. Yep. All right. So Jeremy wins the trivia for round 1. And he gets once again to choose between these 3 predetermined genres: the possession genre, political thriller, or road trip comedy. What are you changing Rocky into tonight?
Kind of hoping I would get a mystery one because I don't really like any of these.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I'm not sure you're gonna like the other ones either, but you'll see.
Man.
Find out.
I'll go political thriller.
Okay. Political thriller so political thriller for Jeremy, and so Dan, these are your mystery choices. You have either a monster kaiju film or a food film. Like a food movie? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
I got you. Okay. Well, which one do you want to do?
God, I don't want to do a monster kaiju. I like Jeremy's political thriller better. I guess I'm going with a food film.
Okay. A lot of Italian food in this movie, I'm guessing. All right. So we will start with Jeremy since Dan's got the mystery pick. So, Jeremy, please tell us your political thriller version of Rocky.
All right. Well, in my version of the story, Rocky is a small-time fighter, as we all know him to be, and he's struggling to make it. He's been struggling for a while, and to make ends meet, he does get involved with a man named Gazzo. But we find out that Gazzo is actually not just a small-time loan shark, but actually a political operative with his hands in a lot of pies. And he makes money for the U.S. government. He makes money for governments overseas, whichever way he can play it. And as Rocky begins his journey to go and fight Apollo Creed, and the eyes of the whole nation are going to be on this big fight that Rocky won the shot to be in, Gazzo has a deal going on with a president of another country that they're going to assassinate a political candidate that they've been able to invite to the match. And somehow Rocky becomes aware of this, and he wants to earn his shot. He wants to beat Apollo Creed, but he also is torn because he knows once the fight ends, he has to be quiet to earn his allegiance to Gazzo and let this assassination happen of the senator inside the ring. So at the end of the film, the fight actually goes a little different, and Rocky is in a good position, and he has Apollo on the ropes. And in the last moments, he decides, no, I have to throw this match and save this man. So he saves the senator, and then the political assassin is actually taken out by police, and he takes down Gazzo and becomes a hero in a different way. But he also knows in his heart that he could have taken Apollo if he had the chance. And maybe one day he'll get another shot, but he had to do the right thing to save this person, even at the risk of his own life and the people he's in debt to with Gazzo. And it kind of leaves the door open in the second film. There's more guys that are going to come after Rocky because of what he did. And then he still wants his shot with Apollo Creed. So there's a lot more intrigue going on into the second one there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see the second movie being like a blaxploitation film where Apollo Creed teams up with Rocky to help protect him.
He's got his own people on his trail, like in the black community, Black Caesar and all that stuff.
I like it. All right. Well, Dan, you got a little more time. We're going to go talk to the judges about this pitch. See you in a second. All right, guys. Well, that was I love that pitch. Please tell me, Tony, tell us, what did you think of the political thriller pitch from Jeremy?
I gotta say, it is quite intriguing. I have to admit that. It is very intriguing, especially now with this political climate happening now in the US. Yeah, I actually don't mind this one. It certainly puts a different spin on Rocky for sure. But I do no, I'm actually do quite like it in particular. Definitely.
Okay. Andrew, where are you feeling about this pitch?
I'm similar along lines with Tony, where I like it. It's rather intriguing. I also like that, we didn't really get a sense of the time frame, but I'm assuming it's still 1970s.
Yeah, I would assume.
So we have that kind of 1970s political thriller vibe to it, which of course is kind of a unique era of like conspiracy theories, mistrusting the government, and like international espionage and all kinds of stuff like that, which I think we dabbled into a little bit with this organized crime element that Rocky gets involved with, where it's not only here, but it's like global, we're perhaps setting up a global, big bad group of bad guys or something, you know what I mean? Like international group of, it's almost like a James Bond type of situation here.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I like that. I like the idea that, Rocky kind of is the wrong man scenario, wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. And he kind of has to figure his way out of it. I really like that. Also, we got kind of a little bit of an ending and also a setup for a sequel, which that's usually something we get on movie Mutation. So it's like, it was mutated and then also like a sequel mutation too.
Yeah. I'm excited for the sequel. So, but all right. Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. I mean, it was a solid pitch. It gave us just enough to be excited about it, but also, we still got room to like expand on it as we mutate the movie further. So, we'll see. Dan might, give us an appetite for his pitch. So let's see what he's got. Yeah. All right. See you guys in a little bit.
No worries.
All right, we heard it from the judges. Let's see. We all really liked Jeremy's pitch, but let's see what Dan's got to say. Please, Dan, tell us your food film version of Rocky.
So, Rocky is one of 8 kids who lives in a orphanage, and they're all struggling, and the parents aren't that nice, the people that run the orphanages. So they have a struggle to get food, and they always have a struggle. They're always out hustling on the streets and stuff. And so when they do get a decent meal, Rocky scoops up his food, and he eats really fast. He eats really fast. And as he gets older, he realizes he's got a skill. Fast eater. What the heck? What can I do with being a fast eater? And then he just happens to be watching the TV, and he realized that there's this, as he's a teenager and he starts getting into his teenage and upper years, and he's constantly always eating fast because he's got this competition with his brothers and sisters at the orphanage. There's an eating contest. There's an eating contest in New York. And if you win a bunch of money. But it's a fast eating contest. And the guy that was supposed to be in the contest drops out. And so they're looking for a new competitor to be in this eating contest. And Rocky reaches out to the people. Hey, I'm from Philadelphia. I think I'm good at eating fast. I think I could be a competitive eater. Would you consider me for the contest? And the guy's like, oh yeah, man, I'll mop the floor. You know what? In fact, we'll do cheesesteaks. And I'll come to Philadelphia and we'll do the contest in Philadelphia, and it'll be cheesesteak eating contest. Who can eat the most cheesesteaks in 10 minutes or something like that? And so Rocky didn't think he had much of a life or a career. He ends up getting involved with competitive cheesesteak food eating contest. And he goes toe to toe with this guy named Creed, who's the big bad bully of the food eating contests in the country in New York and all these different places. And it's competitive eating his cheesesteaks because this isn't something he normally eats, Creed. So it's a little bit not exactly what he eats because he's more of hot dogs. This guy's into hot dogs, But and then the local girl who's in the orphanage, who kind of has that eye for Rocky, she's starting to say, wow, this guy is a cool guy. Yeah, he eats a lot of food and stuff, but I'm kind of rooting for him. I kind of want to see him do good, And he's like, you actually like me? I'm over here. I'm a chubby old Rocky. I eat a lot. I'm eating a lot. I'm not nobody. I'm a bum. Well, yeah, but you're nice. And, I like the fact that you want to be somebody of a competitive eater. So he ends up getting a girlfriend out of it. And it's just this kind of feel-good story about this little palooka of a kid named Rocky who lives in an orphanage with all these other kids who becomes a competitive eater.
Okay. All right. Guys, I didn't expect to love this pitch. I freaking loved this pitch. I mean, first of all, if you saw that I was losing it and I had to go off screen, it's because I couldn't keep from laughing. Because first of all, Dan turns Rocky into an orphan and then says that he eats a lot of food. And like the thing that when you think about orphans is the least thing that they would be doing is eating a lot, because they are just not even living with a family. But somehow he just somehow finds food everywhere and eats it all the time and then becomes a competitive eater. And he was an orphan.
I like it.
Food should be like a luxury for somebody that's an orphan.
That's what makes it so interesting, is because you would think the food would be scarce, but it also makes sense that he would eat it fast so that he can get it before someone else gets it. It seems like he's got to be scrapping for it. You know what I mean?
It is genius, Dan. He fumbled into genius here. I'm sorry.
This may be the best improvisational thing that Dan's ever done here.
It might have been the best thing he's ever done.
I mean,
in general, I think this might. No, I'm just kidding, Dan.
The little kind of the little details in there, which were more impressive to me, is that it's not just any type of food eating contest. It's a Philadelphia cheesesteak eating contest.
Of course it is.
Which is like absurd. If you've ever eaten a cheesesteak sandwich, they tend to be a little big, a little messy, a little more involved than like hot dogs or chicken wings or
does
something
it have
like that, or
peppers in
pies.
it? Does it have, yeah.
But it makes sense if we're going to mutate it, and it's going to be weird, and it's going to be odd, and we're going to take Rocky and turn it from boxing to competitive eating. We might as well go for it.
Some people consider that a sport, I guess.
I mean, every year here they have the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. It's a big old thing and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a competitive type of situation here.
You know what this reminded me of? Balls of Fury.
Oh, interesting.
Like Balls of Fury, that type of like over the top comedy sports movie for something that's like kind of like a on the side sport. I mean, yeah, ping pong's more of a sport than competitive eating, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of a low key, almost not a sport movie, but it is. Tony, thoughts?
It's an interesting idea, I'll give you that, because in Australia there is no such thing as competitive eating, but in America, no, I know
it is an American thing for sure.
I know that for sure, but I thought it would have been a little bit better if he added the Popeye thing to it, because if he eats Philadelphia cheesesteaks, his strength would go up and up, and his metabolism would go up and up. But either way, it's still a very interesting pitch. But
yeah,
it's. Well, as you said, Andrew, it is a movie mutation after all. It's something out of the ordinary. So, yeah.
Where are you leaning?
I hate to say this, but I'm still into the political thriller. But I do like the idea. I'm still like the idea of the competitive eating. But sorry, Dan, I know you hate me, but it's not personal. Believe me.
Yeah, ever the contrarian, I say. You know what's good? This is a more interesting idea than the political thriller.
It is. That's why it's so difficult.
It can go anywhere, really.
It can.
There's no real instance here where like you would wonder where it could go. I almost want to see how this could further be explored. I want to see how. I would love to see who would direct this movie.
I know.
That I'm intrigued with also. That'll be very interesting.
I'm also, for some reason, I thought it was going to go a more serious route of like Rocky wants to because we know Rocky like opened a restaurant and stuff like that. So I thought it was going to go that route. So
that's what I thought.
Completely took me.
Honestly, when I said food movie, I was expecting somebody to make like a serious food movie, like a serious food movie. But he chose the comedy food movie,
right?
Route. So
I was thinking of something like Tampopo or something of that route, or but no, you know what? I'm going to go with this competitive food eating idea.
I'm with you, dude. I didn't expect to go this route, but I really liked Dan's pitch. And I was expecting boxing to somehow maybe weave its way in, but when he really got into the he replaced the boxing with competitive eating, I was like, you know what? That works, dude. That just works. That works fine. Dan wins the round with his pitch. All right, let's get back to the guys. I told you, Dan.
Good job, Dan. I told you this was your night, man.
I love both. I know. I loved both pitches, but there was something so hilarious about your pitch. It was so dumb that I was like, I have to go with it.
It was.
You found a way to make it about Philadelphia, though, and I didn't think about the authentic Philadelphia of it all. I should have thought of that detail. So good job with that.
All right. Well, that was fun, guys. Let's get into round two, which is, of course, our director's round. Once again, these guys are going to be asked questions about the director of this film, John G. Alverson. But this time, the trivia, these guys will be separated, and they'll each get 10 questions and have 3 minutes to answer as many of them right as possible. And whoever gets more right in their time period wins. And whoever wins, of course, gets once again 3 directors, predetermined directors to choose from. You either have Bong Joon-ho, Kenneth Branagh, or Steven Spielberg to direct this competitive eating Rocky movie. So All right. So first, I'm going to. Who wants to answer questions first? Since Dan, since you won, do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay. So Dan, we're gonna ask you to leave the area. I'm gonna ask you to leave completely, and I'll send you a message to come back in when we're done.
Got it.
All right, Jeremy. And you will have 3 minutes to get as much as you want. If you want to pass on a question, you can come back to it. We can do that.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Clock starts now.
Okay.
What was Alverson's last film, an action film from 1999 starring Jean-Claude Van Damme?
The Quest?
Incorrect.
Okay.
Question 2. How many Rocky films did Alverson direct?
2.
That's correct. 1 point. Question 3. Alverson was nominated for 2 Oscars in his career, one winning Best Director for Rocky. What was the category he was nominated in his second nomination?
Producer?
Incorrect. Question 4. Alverson directed John Lemon to a Best Lead Actor Oscar in this 1973 film.
It's Jack Lemmon that Save the Tiger.
Or Jack Lemmon, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Save the Tiger is correct.
Yeah.
Question 5. Alverson tried his name removed from the director and editor credits on this 1980 film starring George C. Scott and Marlon Brando.
This is probably wrong, but it's in my head for some reason. Champs?
Incorrect.
No.
Question 6. The Rocky series was not only the films Alverson directed that centered around boxing. What other film from 1992 did?
The Power of One?
Power One is correct. Question 7. This 1998 Alverson film was the feature film debut of comedian Pauly Shore.
I'm sorry, 98?
88, I'm sorry.
88. Oh, Lean on Me?
Incorrect. This 1981 dark satire was actor John Belushi's final film before his death in 1982. What's the film?
Neighbors.
Correct. Question 9. Alverson did a biopic on a teacher named Joe Clark in this 1989 film.
Lean on Me. I just had the year wrong.
Yep. And the last question. Luke Perry and Stephen Baldwin played a couple real-life bull riders in this 1994 film.
8 seconds.
That is correct. We got 6 out of 10. All right. All right, Dan. Jeremy got 6 out of 10 right.
Wow. I knew you'd
6 out of 10. So we'll see how this goes. Once again, you'll have 3 minutes to answer as many right as possible. If you want to pass on something, you can. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Question 1. What was Alverson's last film, an action film from 1999 starring Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Kickboxer.
Incorrect. Question 2. How many Rocky films did Alverson direct?
1.
Incorrect. Question 3. Alverson was nominated for 2 Oscars in his career, one winning Best Director for Rocky. What category was his other nomination in?
Writing.
Incorrect. Question 4. Alverson directed Jack Lemmon to a Best Lead Actor Oscar in 1973 film. What is the film?
Something tiger, something tiger, the something tiger, forgetting the tiger, the something tiger. God, why can't I remember the other word? It's something tiger. Something tiger. I don't know what the other word is.
Save the Tiger.
Damn it, save the tiger.
Yeah. Question 5. Alverson tried to get his name removed from the director and editor credits on this 1980 film starring George C. Scott and Marlon Brando.
the Four Feathers.
Incorrect. Question 6. The Rocky series was not the only films Alverson directed that centered around boxing. Name the 1992 film.
1992 film that's Against the Ropes.
Incorrect. Question 7. This 1998 Alverson film was the feature film debut of comedian Pauly Shore. What's the film?
Could you repeat that, please?
This 1988 Alverson film was the feature film debut of comedian Pauly Shore. What's the film?
I don't know.
Question 9. Alverson did a biopic on a teacher named Joe Clark in this 1989 film.
Lean on Me.
Correct. And the last one, Luke Perry and Stephen Baldwin played a couple of real-life bull riders in this 1994 film.
Oh, God. I don't remember the name of it.
All right. Let's get Jeremy in here. You got 1 out of 10. All right. So the ones that never really got answered, I don't think, ever. Let's see. The question about Albertson's last film that was an action film, 1999.
Legionnaire?
Desert Heat.
Desert Heat. Okay.
Also called Inferno.
Yeah. No, I did know it as Inferno. I had to study JCVD like years ago, and it was like it was in there somewhere.
I'll just go through all of them. Question 2. What is the Jerry got this right? There's 2 films that Alverson directed.
Yeah, he did Rocky
2 and
5.
Rocky 5.
Yeah, he did Rocky 5.
That's what I thought after I said 1. I said he did 5.
Yeah. Question 3. What was the other category Alverson was nominated in? Was Best Documentary Short Subject. Which is, of course, that's kind of obscure. Question 4, you both got, or you kind of knew it, Dan, Save the Tiger. Question 5, what was the 1980 film that scarred George C. Scott and Marlon Brando that he wanted to get his credits off of? Was The Formula. Question 6, Jeremy got this one. What was the other movie centered around boxing? The Power of One.
Yes.
97. Question 7. The Pauly Shore movie. The debut of him was For Keeps.
Oh yeah, the Molly Ringwald movie. Wow.
And this is one that Jeremy got. The dark satire that starred John Belushi was Neighbors.
Underrated.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
And then you both got Lean on Me, and the last one was 8 Seconds, Dan.
Yeah. I'll never forgive you for not asking one Karate Kid question.
I know, right? I'm sorry.
He did 3 of those. All right, whatever.
All right, so
no Karate Kid question.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
3 movies.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All right, so once again, Jeremy has won trivia, so he once again gets to pick between these 3 directors. We got Bong Joon-ho, Kenneth Branagh, or Steven Spielberg.
This is easy this time. Absolutely Bong Joon-ho.
Of course. Of course.
I would have picked Bong Joon-ho as well if I had the choice.
All right, so Dan, these are your 2 choices. You're going to love them. You're either going to be pitching with Eli Roth or Spike Lee.
Oh my God. I wonder if Eli Roth done anything other than horror movies?
I don't know. Some of his movies feel like comedies.
Yeah. They're so bad, they're funny. I'll go with Eli Roth.
Okay.
Bong Joon-ho is of all these directors, Bong Joon-ho is the best one, I think.
I don't know. I kind of would have liked seen Kenneth Branagh Shakespeare version of this. It's something very proper.
Or Thor and Loki would be in it, one or the other.
Of course. All right. So we will let, of course, once again, we'll let the person with the predetermined pick go first. So Jeremy, tell us why Bong Joon-ho is the proper director for this competitive food film eating version of Rocky.
Well, Dan's original pick kind of You know, it's a food eating competition, but it's with the Rocky story. You're thinking it's kind of goofy, like maybe it's a Zucker Abrams comedy type movie. But when you get someone like Bong Joon-ho involved, I think that changes it now. And now it is definitely a comedic film, and he's done like with Mickey 17, a lot of humor, a lot of like wackiness. But it's going to have wild energy. It's going to be frantic. It's going to be wild, take wild narrative swings. There'll be comedy there, but he's such a master of tone. He can terrify you and make you laugh and make you care about his characters all in the same scene, really. If you look at something like Parasite, his just mastery of tone is amazing. So he can make this like actually a movie that feels somewhat real. That this eating competition, I mean, this is life or death for the main character. He's going to win money that he can get himself and his other foster brothers and sisters out of poverty. I mean, this is a big deal, and I think it will tie into the themes that Bong Joon-ho has dealt with before, like in Parasite. The haves and the have-nots. I think it would be interesting to have his main rival be a Korean a rival, because in Asia, there is a lot of competitive eating. Like the Kobayashi was, the champion of hot dog eating for many years, a Japanese competitor. So I think that would be kind of an interesting culture clash there. And yeah, I mean, it's going to have everything. It's going to be wild. It's going to be probably disgusting. He can get pretty gross in some of his movies with, the eating the cheesesteaks, and, you may not want a cheesesteak after this movie, or maybe you will. It probably depends on the scene. But yeah, this is going to be something really wild. And, there's a long tradition of Asian filmmakers taking, American stories, taking Western stories, like Kurosawa doing several Shakespeare adaptations. There have been a lot of films where, another country, like there was an Indian Forrest Gump and everything. So I just think taking such a classic, um, you know, uh, iconic American story and taking the South Korean spin on it, adding the social commentary, I think is a way to do it. It's like Dan accidentally put us into a really good situation, because now it doesn't feel like a cheap cash in, like we're just trying to remake Rocky and put some weird spin. Like actually, it has some cultural integrity to it and maybe a message as well. So I think Bong would just absolutely do something wild and crazy with Rocky and Philly cheesesteaks.
Love it. Love the pitch, man. All right. And let's go ahead over to Dan. Let's go ahead over to Dan and get his pitch for the Eli Roth directed version of Rocky.
Yeah, Eli Roth likes to do gore, and he likes camera shots, close-up camera shots. You get to see the blood, you get to see the gore, you get to see all the breaking of bones and all the crazy killing things and all that. Well, what if instead of doing all the blood and the guts and the gore, we got a close-up of the competitive eaters eating their food, cameras in the plates, in the faces, and there's food out of there. You're like, oh my God, that's disgusting. That's like a horror movie. You like got all these, because it's a contest. So you get a bunch of people, then you whittle it down to the final two. She might even get like 5 or 6 other people, and it's like all these people. Maybe what Jeremy said. Maybe there's a Korean guy. Maybe there's a girl in the contest. Maybe there's a fat girl in the contest or something. Who knows? Whatever. And this. Then you see the people watching. You go to like cameras of people watching the contest, which takes place at 4th of July, and the movie takes place at 4th of July because it's a competitive eating contest. And then the people are just like, oh, and then there's like the shock of the contest. Who's gonna win? In this, it's dramatic. It's the seconds are ticking off. You see the clock tick, 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 and there's a close up on the clock and all this stuff. And it's kind of like, instead of like straightforward horror, you use the food and all the eating of the food as like really graphic horror. And I think Eli Roth could do a lot with that.
Okay. So guys, wow. This was a matchup, but these matchups, I always prepared this game to be hopefully have dream matchups like Eli Roth versus Bong Joon-ho. I mean, this is the conversations that are cinematic all in themselves. Andrew, I want to know where you're standing on this. Which pitch stood out to you more?
Well, the one, the Bong Joon-ho one is the one I prefer. If I'm just going to come right out of the gate,
Yeah, go ahead.
say that, because it felt like there was more avenues in which to explore what you can explore with this type of movie. You know, it is about competitive eating, but like I said, the way in which it was pitched felt more like a scrappy underdog story, and I think Jeremy even explored that even more with the whole Bong Joon-ho angle, because Bong Joon-ho loves those type of political, cultural, societal themes in his movies. Watch, they mentioned Parasite, even Mickey 17, his newest film had those in it. Even Okja was a whole.
I was going to say Okja.
thing.
I was really thinking about the fact that the fact that they're eating food, and like, what if the food is part of the commentary? Like, because the pig thing was, the whole animal thing was involved in
the
that
animal
movie.
rights thing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, talk about a
cheesesteak,
theme.
the beef industry, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like Bong Joon-ho could explore all of that
exactly
a lot more. And I do like Dan's like visceral, like Green Inferno-esque of Eli Roth and getting in there with all the disgustingness of it, but it's like I want a little bit more formation. But I get it.
I think the main thing.
Yeah.
Before I say anything else, Tony, where are you standing?
They're both good pitches, I gotta say. With the directors with a specific visual flair, like Bong Joon-ho, he's brilliant. Don't get me wrong, but for a film of a food eating contest that you need to make the audience feel, to make them hungry, but to also make them nauseated at the same time, I do have to say I'm with Dan for Eli Roth. I actually like the Eli Roth pitch. Like I know, Dan mentioned I don't know if he did other horror films, but he's done a couple. Don't think he did that awful Death Wish remake, as well as the horrendous Borderlands, and then he did a kids horror film called The House with the Clock on Its Walls. That had some food sequences as well. But if you want to make a memorable food eating contest that has probably some of the most appetizing yet visually disgusting moments on screen, that would be perfect. But I think I'm with Dan on this one for Eli Roth.
Okay, so you're liking kind of the idea of taking this more in a horror direction, unless all the political
not exactly horror, like a gross out comedy, something along those lines. But yeah, I think that's how I see it anyway.
So maybe even more so like that this movie's like a B movie than it is like, trying to make it more than it is.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. I think me and Andrew are more on the same page though. I think I'm with Andrew. You're more going Bong Joon-ho, right?
Yeah, that would be my pick.
Yeah, I think I'm Bong Joon-ho. Not even because I kind of agree with Jeremy's process on it, but he actually gave a little more examples with the filmography. He kind of gave us more of an idea. Dan did discuss, some Eli Roth adjacent things, but he didn't really give us examples of movies, really. We know him, obviously, but he didn't really give me a lot to work with. But yeah, I mean, that could work. But I like this, like, we're already taking Rocky and making him into this hot dog eating contest. It's become a kind of a comedy sports movie / kind of taking it seriously. So somebody that handles that really well is Bong Joon-ho, and he's going to even probably take this up a level. I'm thinking that Rocky, the one thing about Rocky that might not change is the Best Picture nomination. If Bong Joon-ho makes it. So let's go. I think we should run with that. We should keep a little bit of that in there. And I think the mixture there of somebody that's going to kind of take a satirical spin on it and take it seriously, even though it's kind of like a trash subject matter, I think that's a fun director to do it. So I'm going that way. And I think Jeremy wins this round. So,
okay.
All right, guys, we'll be back in a little bit for the character round.
No worries.
All right, my friends. Hey, look, both great pitches. Jeremy won this one out. Good job, my friend.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah. I love how close this game is, Dan.
I know. I love the back and forth. It's great. All right. So now we are getting into the character round, the cast. These guys were given 3 characters that they'll have to recast. The 3 characters are Rocky, Adrian, and Apollo Creed. We got to figure out who these people are and who will be playing them. There's also going to be a 4th mystery character that I will divulge to them when we get to that point. But now, once again, we have to get into the trivia for round 3. This time, they will get 5 questions, both getting asked at the same time, and they will have a whiteboard or a piece of paper to write their answers on. And whoever has the most right at the end of the questions doesn't win, a predetermined, that there is no predetermined thing. This time, they will be winning the opportunity to make their opponent pitch with an actor or actress of their choosing. So if Jeremy wins, then he can make Dan pitch Rocky with, Steve Buscemi. His Rocky could be Steve Buscemi, and then he makes him have to pitch with him. Sometimes it backfires, and they make it work. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. But first, let's start with the trivia. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Question 1. Sylvester Stallone's role in his 1986 film Cobra was inspired by this early script for this popular film. This is multiple choice, by the way. I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
Oh.
The multiple choice is A, 48 Hours, B, Beverly Hills Cop, C, Lethal Weapon, or D, Code of Silence.
My pen is not working.
Mm.
I don't have any other pens. Damn it. Come on. Of course. I checked this pen earlier. There it goes. Okay. I checked this pen earlier to make sure.
You don't have to write the whole answer out. You just write the letter.
No, I know.
Yeah, just the letter.
The letter. I got that. I got it.
What you got, Jeremy?
I mean, I wrote it before you did. I'm sorry to be a show off. It's Beverly Hills Cop.
Correct. What you got, Dan?
I got D. So
D, Code of Silence. That is the Chuck Norris movie. I don't know. No, that's not right. All right. So Jeremy 1-0. Question 2.
Yeah, it was going to be a serious Beverly Hills Cop with Stallone. It was going to be dead serious.
Yeah. Talia Shire played the girlfriend of a boxer in 2 different roles in 1976. One of them was Rocky. Which is the other? You have A, Lights Out, B, Fat City, C, Rich Man, Poor Man, or D, Triumph of the Spirit. All right, Dan, what you got?
I got C.
Rich Man, Poor Man's correct.
Ah,
Jeremy?
I put B. I didn't put Rich Man Poor Man because it's a TV movie, so I didn't know you would go that way.
Yeah. All right, so we got 1-1. Question 3. Before Carl Weathers was an actor, he was a professional football player from the 1970 to 1974 season, where he retired after 13 games with the Detroit Lions. Which team originally signed him?
This is a Dan question.
I know.
I don't know sports.
You have either A, the Oakland Raiders, B, Baltimore Colts, C, Dallas Cowboys, or D, Chicago Bears. All right. Jeremy?
A,
That's correct.
guy.
I said D.
No.
I said D.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say, he seems like a Raider to me.
Yeah. All right. Jeremy takes the lead on a guess. 2-1. All right. Question 4. Joe Spinell has appeared in 4 films that was nominated for Best Picture Oscars. The Godfather, 1972. The Godfather Part 2, 1974. Rocky, 1976. And what other film? You have A, The Deer Hunter, B, Dog Day Afternoon, C, sorcerer, or D, taxi driver? All right, Dan, what you got?
It's D, taxi driver. He was the guy that run the taxi place.
That's right, correct.
I didn't have it.
Wow. So
Forgot
it's
about that.
tied 2-2. We are down to the last question. Now, if neither of you get this right, you both will get the advantage. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Nobody gets the advantage if it's tie. So question 5. Burt Young was a boxer in the military from 1957 to 1959, winning 32 of his 34 fights. What branch of the military was he in? Was he A, a Marine, B, a Navy, C, Coast Guard, or D, Space Force?
Hope I didn't. I changed it from something to something. So I didn't change it to the wrong.
Jeremy, what you got?
Navy.
Incorrect.
Oh,
Dan?
I changed it from A to C.
You should have kept your original answer because it was A, Marine.
I did. I was like, oh, crap. I
All
said to
right.
myself, if I change it to the wrong answer, I'm going to be so upset.
All right. So nobody gets it. No, so I guess you're both safe. It's fine. You don't get do a sabotage card on anybody, but we do got to go through the characters. So our first character in this, food eating contest version of Rocky, directed by Bong Joon-ho, we got to figure out our Rocky, our lead guy, this orphan who's trying to feed his other orphan family. Dan, Jeremy, you won the last round. Who is your Rocky?
I'm gonna go with Timothy Chalamet.
Oh my God, he's going with a current pick. Okay, all right, Timothy.
Yep.
Tell us why Timothy Chalamet is the best version of Rocky here.
Well, I was thinking of current people because it's Bong Joon-ho, so I was thinking it was a current time movie.
Yeah, I mean, it
I
doesn't
think
matter.
that, with the actors that he's worked with in his couple of English language films, like Robert Pattinson and the different actors that he's worked with, Tilda Swinton and stuff. I just think that he's good at working with actors who have a lot of energy, very, very brave actors and like to take risks. And I think we just saw something special from Timothy with Marty Supreme. And I think the energy that he had as this guy, in a different time period who had all this ambition, but, was also a screw up. I think that, he could take some of that energy, but now he's playing a character who we care about, who's actually a good-hearted guy, but he's an underdog. He's a super thin, scrawny little kid who's entering an eating competition. So that right there kind of puts him, he's the underdog. But a lot of the people in that sport are not overweight people as you might think. Like I mentioned Kobayashi earlier, he is a thin guy that won many competitions for years and years. So I think that would be interesting. I think the fact that he's an orphan, we've seen Chalamet like in Wonka and stuff play characters that were either orphans or had come from humble circumstances. So I think he can tap into some of those notes again. But he's just really emerged to be so versatile. He's in like big action movies, he's in serious dramas, he's in family movies. And I just think, like I said, with the tone thing, like we saw with Robert Pattinson and Mickey 17, you need an actor who can play all the different tones and go wherever Bong needs them to go. And I think he can be super funny. I think we can love the guy. I think there can be moments where we kind of hate the guy. And ultimately at the end, we're right there with him, rooting for him in that last moment where he's eating that last cheesesteak. And I think the kid has what he needs to pull that off. And I think those two, that director and that actor particularly working together, would be really fascinating.
Yeah, and he just looks like if Stallone was like, had a surgery to take away all the muscle and fat out of his body. He looks like he could be Stallone. So love it. Love the pick. All right, Dan, tell us, what is your choice for our Rocky in this film?
I'm going to go with Fat Jonah Hill. And
I'm glad you specified Fat Jonah Hill. Thank you.
Fat Jonah Hill. His stuff is slapstick. He's young. in like movies like Superbad and movies like that. But then you see the crazy side of him too as he gets a little bit older in The Wolf of Wall Street. And I see him as a guy that can eat a lot and grow up as a chubby kid in an orphanage, acting opposite all these other kids and having kind of crazy good time with these other guys and stuff like that. I just feel like he can be funny. He can do zany things, and he can act opposite other people and make them better, and they can make him better, and they can just kind of all meld together if you get a really good supporting cast in here of people with him, because he rises to the occasion of who he's working with. Fat Jonah Hill.
Okay. I like how he ends it. Fat Jonah Hill. All right. Okay. Cool. Let's go talk to the judges and see what they think. All right. So we got Timothy Chalamet, as Adam Sandler says it, or Fat Jonah Hill, as we have to call him because we can't just say Jonah Hill. I'm going to start with you, Tony. Where are you standing on this? This is an interesting. I have some thoughts, but I want to hear you first.
It is an interesting casting choice for both, but I'm gonna have to say Chalamet because I have a personal thing with Fat Jonah Hill, because I actually met Fat Jonah Hill when he was in Sydney promoting Superbad. Worst human being you can ever imagine. And really? He was a rude cunt. I'll tell you that right now.
Wow.
But no,
Dan, you really picked the wrong actor.
No,
this is personal for Tony.
It's personal for me, but I am going to withdraw from the personal thing. Chalamet, I can believe, because as Jeremy said, he did Wonka, helping other orphans and everything, which does work. But with Jonah Hill, I believe that he would be great in the food eating contest, but sorry, Fat Jonah Hill, I should say. But the thing is, I don't know if people will believe if he's a good person, because, if with everything going on in the background,
he needs to be likable.
Yeah, he needs to be likable. That's right.
Yeah.
But everything going on in the news and everything with his career and how he treats other actors and human beings, Jonah Hill could work, I got to say, but I do have to agree and say Chalamet, because I think Chalamet is very versatile, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Andrew, where are you?
Yeah, I'm going kind of along the same lines as Tony. Chalamet, we've seen the diversity. We've seen him take roles that we were like, oh, will that work? Specifically, Jeremy mentioned Marty Supreme, which is a movie about, it's not about competitive ping pong. That's just one element in it. It's more about other things that the Marty Supreme character is going through in that movie.
No spoilers. I'm watching it tomorrow. Sorry.
Okay, I'm not spoiling anything. It's just it's not a sports movie, but you think it is going into it, but there's a lot more going on within it. So, and Chalamet pulls all of that off very, very well. And we've seen him do, like I said, diversity. We've seen him do, Dune, which is a large scope, epic, novel adaptation. We've seen him do smaller roles in side roles in both the Greta Gerwig films in Little Women, as well as Lady Bird. I believe he's in that as well.
Yeah.
So we've seen him do a bunch of different things. He was in, what's the movie he's in with Steve Carell? Is that A Beautiful Boy?
Beautiful.
Yes,
Where that was kind of like his critical breakout role, where he's really, really good in that. So we've seen him do a bunch of different things. Kind of a young ingenue. I don't even know if we could consider him a young ingenue anymore, but it's still really good pick. And I think for a movie that, has this competitive eating thing within it, but also is probably about more than that. I feel like, especially with Bong Joon-ho.
I was going to say, because we've established that our director is not just going to make this schlock. I think we're gonna get more out of it, heady out of it. I want an actor. I mean, look, Jonah Hill, I think thinks he's heady. He's trying to be his career. He's as a filmmaker himself. He did was it 90s?
Mid-90s.
Mid-90s.
Yeah.
He's trying to be that indie type of heady director, but I don't know that he's quite got it. And based off what Tony's telling me, he's a douche. So I don't know if anybody's going to want to work with him anyway. But yeah, Bong Joon-ho, we know what he is. We know we know what we can get from him, and he's definitely the type of director Chalamet would want to work with for sure. And I think they would work really. It makes me think about Robert Pattinson and him working together on Mickey 7, 17, 7, 7.
Yeah, Mickey 17.
Yeah, 17. So like, I think that would be a great marriage and something that would be like, Chalamet would be having to do something that's kind of comedic, that is like, but I could see him taking it super seriously. I think it's perfect. And he looks like Stallone, a shrunken Stallone. It works for me. So
the thing is, initially when he said it, I'm like, I had the mindset of this being a boxing movie, and it's not. So he doesn't have to be physically imposing. And you don't have to be physically imposing necessarily to be a competitive eater, as Jeremy also mentioned.
But I think that it's unanimous there. We're going to have Timothée Chalamet starring in this movie. Let's do it, guys. Let's move forward. Let's go to see who his Adrian is. All right. Sorry, Dan. We were unanimous on the Chalamet. So Jeremy gets the first character here. Next character we're jumping on is Adrian, his girlfriend, and just in this movie, he's a girlfriend. They don't get married in this movie. Let's not get on to the sequel yet. We leave that for the sequel. But the girl he meets at some point in the story, for whatever reasons, we haven't fleshed it out a lot. So this is your chance to maybe flesh out her character a little bit. Jeremy, you just won, so you get a pick. You get to pick first. Who is your Adrian?
I'm gonna go with Mikey Madison.
Mikey Madison, the recent Oscar winner from the Anora film. Tell us about it.
Well, we've been waiting to see what she's going to do post Anora. I know she's turned down just about every big Marvel, Star Wars, whatever they could throw at her, and I think working with someone like Bong would just be a wonderful next move for her. It's a chance to really flex her muscles again as an actress and not just be tied down to some studio franchise project. And it's really difficult when someone wins an Oscar. The career can really kind of go in some weird places after that. So I just think this would be working with Chalamet and working with Bong would just be sturdy footing for her. But in terms of her being Adrian, I just think it would be wonderful. I kind of think Dan hinted at this, but I get the idea that she's someone else that's kind of from this orphan environment. Maybe I think it'd be weird if she was one of his foster siblings, but she probably lives like in the next building, and he's probably known her for a long time. And now that he's gotten a little bit of confidence by starting to win these eating competitions, he finally works up the nerve to talk to her. I kind of, Mikey Madison's got a very different energy than Talia Shire, so I see her being a little more of a spitfire. Like she probably kind of gives it back to him a little more. But they understand each other. They come from dire straits, and she's right there with him and wanting a better life, and she understands that if he can achieve this, it'll help all the other people too. So I think they're even more in the original story. I think they're more like partners, and she's kind of like on his team a little more, trying to help him as he figures out how to navigate the professional eating world. Again, you think about Tone. I think that she is really wonderful. She came from a show called Better Things for many years, which was a comedic show, kind of a dramedy. So she can do comedy. She can kind of go wild. She, was in Scream 5 and had kind of an over-the-top crazy performance in that. She was even crazier in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So, when it gets manic, when it goes into that Bong Joon-ho crazy territory, she can navigate all that. But you saw in Anora, again, a lot of manic, crazy stuff going on. But at the end of the day, that character had such a tremendous heart, and you could see like the vulnerable person underneath that. And, this is a character who's put up, layer after layer to try to survive in a harsh environment, but she's still got that heart, and she's still got love in her heart that she's going to share with the Rocky character. And I think Mikey Madison is really wonderful to play all those.
Fantastic. All right, Dan, we're on to you, man. What is our Adrian?
Well, this is going to be weird if this movie actually happened, because then you say, oh, that's kind of a little awkward. But because you didn't pick Jonah Hill, I'm going to go with it might work better, because you want a frumpy girl. You want someone who's a little chubby, a little bit ugly, not pretty. Maybe she is one of the other orphans. She could be in the building next door. Who knows? But you don't want like, because this is a chubby kid who's a little paloopa. You know, he's not. I know you guys.
Wait. Is Timothy Chalamet
He
like in
was
some bodysuit, or does he gain weight for this role? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, well, because I already established he's like a chubby kid. He's growing
Well, I
up,
mean,
he's a
but
teenager, and he becomes a competitive eater.
okay,
But he's saying Timothy Chalamet. So I'm just kind of still in the same mode of like, well, what kind of girl would maybe go for him, and what kind of girl's kind of down on her luck in the same vein as he is? So I would go with more of a Beanie Feldstein, you know, and that's why I said it was kind of weird, because that's the sister of Jonah Hill in real life. Jonah Hill's real sister. But it didn't work out that way because we got Timothy Chalamet. So, but Beanie Feldstein can be a little bit of a spitfire, like Jeremy said. But she's also a little chubby girl, and she's kind of little bit frumpy. She could be a little bit frumpy, and you know, I wouldn't watch Only Murders in the Building the latest season, because you know that would ruin my pitch here. But I don't know, Beanie Feldstein, she doesn't come across as like a supermodel or any of that kind of stuff, and that's the kind of, I would think that this paloopa of a eating contest kid would go for, and she would kind of be like, hey, I might be able to get that guy because I'm not going to get the good guys, the hot guys, or anything of that kind of thing. So plus they all live together in the thing. They're not really technically related. They're all in the orphanage together, you know. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just. Can you imagine though, Jonah Hill and her were in a relationship in a movie?
That would be weird. I'm glad you brought it up.
How funny!
You got to make it awkward, Dan. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back into the judges and see what they say. So, Beanie Feldstein versus Mikey Madison. Okay, Tony, I want to start with you. Where are you falling on this?
I see where Dan is going with Beanie Feldstein, and luckily we didn't choose Jonah Hill because that would have been an incestuous food comedy. But Mikey Madison is an interesting choice because, as Jeremy said, she's played everything. She's played crazy from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Sure.
She played someone manic, but also has a heart from Nora, when she won the Oscar for. And of course, she played the bitch of a daughter in that Pamela Adlon show. I forgot what it was called. I know Jeremy said it, but it slipped my mind for a second. But yeah, it is a tough choice because Beanie Feldstein would be perfect for that role as well.
Well,
but
I think one thing to think about here too. I mean, like I think Dan brings up something a little. I mean, like he was like saying like she needs to be frumpy and stuff. I don't think that's necessarily. I don't think that's necessarily needs to happen. But I would say that, you know, like when you look at the two women, the one that I do agree that, you know, Mikey Madison's like a more conventionally beautiful girl.
Yeah,
like you would look at her and be like, yeah, she could be a model. You know, the other girl, yeah, is more like real world, every girl type. And I think with Chalamet being our lead, even though he might be a little chubby, apparently, he's still going to be a decent looking dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't, you know, for him to go after like obviously he wants to be with a Mikey Madison type. I mean, who wouldn't want to be with that girl? But it's like, so it seems more like relatable if our character is like, this girl likes him a lot, and they're, you know, it just feels more natural. I think
it does feel natural, absolutely. That's why I'm going to be going with Beanie Feldstein for that one.
Okay,
mainly for that reason, but also the fact is that you know, in Talia Shire, beautiful woman, she wasn't that she didn't look that pretty in the first one.
And obviously we could downplay. I mean, Jeremy, I don't know that Jeremy explained it in that way, but like you could technically downplay her looks if you wanted to.
Absolutely, you could. But yeah, I think I'm going with Beanie Feldstein for this one. Definitely.
Yeah, okay. Andrew, what you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards Jeremy's pick with Mikey Madison, just because we have a much larger sample size of what Mikey Madison can do, especially in a movie like this. And I know we're mutating it, so we kind of want to, you know, play around with it a lot, or be a little bit unconventional, or non-conventional. Because I think, you know, pairing up two, you know, attractive-looking young people to be the leads of your movie, it seems to be what any studio would want to do, just to sell tickets. But to me, it also kind of works on this level because they're also incredibly talented as well. So, you know, you have this kind of triumvirate of like really talented actors plus talented director, and you got yourself, a decent pitch here. If you're pitching, doing a little sell to a movie studio to get funding or something like that, like it works on that level. But I like this idea that, just the way Jeremy explained it, I thought was really, really good. This idea that perhaps that they grew up together and they've had this background story together. That builds up already a built-in relationship that they may have. They both come from similar backgrounds, or perhaps being orphans in a different place, but similar backgrounds. Not necessarily the same orphanage, but could be someplace else. There is that hint in the original Rocky that, you know, uh, Adrian and Rocky did kind of grow up together. At least we've assumed that Rocky and Paulie have been friends for a long time. I mean, not best friends, really. I mean, if you can call Paulie a friend, he does stab you in the back later on in the series, but whatever. Yeah, I like that kind of a little bit of a connection to the original film. So I'm going with Mikey Madison, just because we've seen her do so much and she's so talented. So I think it works on that level. Plus, what I'm going for is that Bong Joon-ho film, and I feel like they would fit in this world really, really well.
Okay. I want some maybe a little clarification on this. And I was honestly leaning mostly towards Dan's pick. But after you said what you said, and I thought about it more, I think, but I do want some clarification. I think I am going to lean towards Jeremy on this one, because I think there could be, even if you don't even downplay her looks, there could be something interesting about changing the Adrian character to maybe even being more of a forward character and making Timothy Chalamet be like the nervous one, I like
that inversion there.
Of the characters, and she's not shy, but she's like really forward, and it makes him nervous, and he likes her, but he doesn't know how to mess with girls. Now he wants to impress her with this cheesesteak eating contest, and it's like I think in that, and even in that it's comical, if there's comedy angles. So I think I'm going to go that route. I think I'm with you, Andrew. I want to do that. So Jeremy takes 2 characters in a row. Let's go back to the guys for our third, Apollo Creed. All right, Dan. Yeah, Dan, you had me at first, but Andrew kind of flipped me a little bit. What he said and kind of reminded me of some of the things. I do want to get a clarification, Jeremy. What is unless I missed it? What is her type of attitude? Is she forward like that towards Rocky?
Yeah, she and kind of. I wasn't thinking we are going the frumpy wallflower. I think we're going to take a different turn with it. She's much more like politically motivated. Like she's really like workers, right? Really concerned with the dealing, hating the 1% and that kind of stuff. So she's not really like focused on a romantic relationship, and all of Rocky's, moves toward her, she's kind of rejected all these years, and all the other dudes in the neighborhood. And now that he's doing something that has a little more of like a social impact, she's now interested in him, and it's more of a meeting of the minds, sort of romance, more than just, she's just the shy girl that falls in love with him or whatever.
I like it, man. I like it. All right. Well, our third character is Mr. Apollo Creed. We've kind of hinted at who he is. He might be Asian instead of, African American character, but you guys tell me. Jeremy, who is your Apollo Creed?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go the Korean route because it is Bong Joon-ho, and I think having somebody from his native country, a great actor in that role, would be really cool. And I'm going with Lee Jung-jae, who is the lead actor of the Squid Game franchise. I think he played a character who is in a similar situation to what the Chalamet character is. Like he played a character in Squid Game who was down on his luck and entered this crazy competition to try to get money for his family. So I think that now him playing the other side, he's somebody who probably came from, those kind of circumstances in Korea. Maybe we make a couple little Squid Game nods, like, a couple little references here and there, just to kind of, a little poke and a nod for fun. But, he's somebody who had to make it, and he's like the top in the world at this strange particular brand of of things, this particular competition. I think that cheesesteaks would probably be something that's new to him. He's probably, been all over the world dealing with other cuisine, so he kind of he doesn't take it serious enough. Like his trainers are like, this cheesesteaks in Philly, this is kind of a different game, and this kid off the streets, he might kind of have an angle here. And he's like, whatever, I've won every eating competition there is, I'm not. Yeah, so he's kind of got that cocky attitude that the original Apollo had. But I think he there were times that he was really pathetic and very funny in Squid Game. So I think he's got the comedy. But yeah, I think he also can be kind of scary. I think he can be intense. I think when they actually get into it, and as ridiculous as it might seem, I think with Bong directing, it would actually be a great, intense competition between these two guys when they get down to it at the end. And I also think that, this guy will, at the end, kind of like Apollo did, show that he's got a bit of heart and that he actually does kind of respects this Rocky kid at the end. And I think he can play all that. And having somebody who's not speaking in the English language and who's speaking in Korean and kind of having his own story apart from the very American, street level Philadelphia story that we're seeing, I just think brings such an interesting idea to the story. And man, he's just such a great actor. Like, God, he's good in that show. So I think that would be really fun.
All right, I like it. Dan, which direction are you going with your Apollo Creed? Wait, actually, Jeremy, is his name still Apollo Creed?
Just Apollo, not Creed.
Okay.
Just Apollo, and that's that's just the stage name that he comes up with. Obviously he has a Korean name, but I'm Apollo, and that's like one of the only words he can say in English and stuff. So he just kind of leans on that.
Gotcha. I like it. All right, Dan, what direction are we going with our Apollo Creed?
Yeah, with Rocky being from Philly, there's a big competitive kind of thing with the city of New York, and so my other guy is going to be a New Yorker type guy. He's going to be a guy who's like a Big Apple type of guy. I'm going to go with Craig Robertson.
Craig Robertson. Okay.
Craig Robertson, and he's like a bigger than life guy. He can insult Rocky and throw all these jabs at him with his verbal banter because he's a comedian and stuff like that. But he's a big guy, so I could see him being a champion eater and stuff like that. And I think cheesesteaks would be something he would like to try to conquer, as far as like he's used to eating the hot dogs and other things like that. And I think if you're going to do a raunchy food eating comedy, I think you'd want some comedic people in there, and I think that's what you should be going for. Bong Joon-ho's going to try to make you laugh. You need some comedy. It can't be too dramatic. I just don't like the idea of it being so dramatic where you're just sitting there and it's like serious, where like Marty Supreme. I think Jeremy's trying to go way too much into like a Marty Supreme kind of thing. And I think you want this to be a food eating comedy and a kind of a raunchy food eating comp from the perspective of Bong Joon-ho. I think Craig Robinson could do that. I think he could fit into that role of Apollo. And I would do the same thing. It'd be a nickname, they call him Apollo,
Okay. All right, Dan. Let's go see what the guys say. All right, so we have Craig Robinson versus Lee Jung Jae. Lee Jung Jae. All right, Andrew, what are you feeling on this one?
Once again, I'm leaning towards Jeremy with Lee Jung Jae. I don't because I know it is kind of setting up a little bit of a Marty Supreme directed by Bong Joon-ho. Now that Dan said that, it is leaning way more towards that, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I just feel like Jeremy's pictures are really, really good and convincing, and they're fitting well with what this movie has been up to this point. And Dan's kind of switcheroo here to kind of pivot from I'm not serious because it's weird kind of to try to figure out what a Bong Joon-ho toned type of movie is, because it's such a mixture of certain tones. And there is an underlying of dark comedy in several of his movies, even ones that are politically dramatic. Like even in Parasite, there is a dark comedy in there. Mickey 17, dark comedy in there. Even something like Snowpiercer, which hasn't been mentioned yet, there's some dark comedy in there. So it's not like it's entirely dark, but it's a different type of comedy than a raunchy, more slapsticky or more conventional comedy that which is what Craig Robinson fits into a lot more. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of like his role on The Office. I'm thinking of his a role in Zack and Mary Make a Porno, the Kevin Smith
Hot Tub
movie.
Time Machine.
Hot Tub Time Machine. I'm thinking of even the small role he has in the HBO series. Oh, why am I I'm forgetting. I'm completely forgetting it. But it's just like his brand of comedy. I don't know would fit into what this movie's looked like so far. That's my whole thing.
Yeah. Tony, what are you thinking?
I'm actually thinking the same way as Andrew because Craig Robinson, I personally wouldn't believe him as a competitive / villain type of role. But yeah, he's a big guy, yeah, and the food eating contest would be perfect for his type of character. But Lee Jung, yeah, he can be menacing as well, as I said in Squid Game, as Jeremy said earlier. He can be funny, he can be menacing, he can do all types of dramatic stuff. Like with food eating contests, you can have different ranges in your facial expressions when you're having your meal, or also doing some kind of taunting your competitor. So yeah, I think I'm up to Lee Jung Ye for that one.
Yeah, the show I was thinking of was Eastbound and Down. That was the one where he plays like a bad guy in there, but it's over the top comedy.
Yeah. Well, obviously, my opinion doesn't matter. In this case, you guys solved it for me, but I was going to go the same way with Jeremy. I think Dan should have ran with the Asian character because I think that just fits so well with Bong Joon-ho's sensibilities and just adds a different. It almost adds like, oh, we're doing Rocky IV also with like another country. You could, let's see, Korea or North Korea. He could be like a North Korean, eater. So, you could have some kind of cultural clash there or something like that. Or even maybe he's Chinese, like whatever. Like you could add that political element in there with it being a character from another country. But like, yeah, I mean, I think he maybe should have tried to run with that, but he decided to keep him African-American. And yeah, he chose Craig Robinson. I would have maybe chose somebody kind of off the wall. Maybe somebody like, if it had to be it would have been funny. He should have picked Michael B. Jordan because he plays Creed and then just make him, and he's like muscular and he's like, that would be funny. So you maybe should have done something like that, but it is what it is. We're gonna go moving on. Jeremy is sweeping the character around here. Let's get back to the guys for our mystery character. All right. So
get a good Ken Jeong, Dan. Get the funny.
I was thinking it when Jeremy said that. That's what came to my mind right away. I could see the score and the camera work where you're not looking at it who it is actually. You just look at maybe he's wearing a robe or something. I had all kinds of ideas for Ken Jeong. As soon as he said, if I stuck with the Asian.
Yeah, that would have been, even though his comedy is more over the top, I still would have probably preferred something more like that than Craig Robinson. But so obviously there's no way Dan's going to win this round, but points in a sense matter here to see who's the overall winner, because when we get into the title and the tagline round, if Dan's going to somehow pitch a better title and tagline, he could be co-ownership of this game no matter what. So let's do this. Let's do this right here. So the mystery character, based off of the story that's coming up here, I think I'd like you guys to recast. I guess I'd like you to recast Mickey, who has never been mentioned. There's got to be a trainer in here somewhere that helps Rocky, helps Timothée Chalamet be the best competitive eater he can. So, Jeremy, who is this person, this trainer that we've never talked about yet in this movie?
Man, I know what I want to do, but this wouldn't work. I think it would just be stupid. I really want to do it though. No. I'm gonna go because Man, I love it when the guy does comedy, and I think it would just be fun to kind of bring him into this franchise, which would be kind of a weird flip of things. I'm gonna go with Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro doing comedy always is
Yeah.
great. Tell us why Robert De Niro is good for this role.
Well, I mean, he was, Raging Bull, and there was like that Grudge Match movie. So it's kind of like he was the other boxer guy, and he won the Oscar that Stallone never got. So there's like, history when it comes to Rocky. But yeah, I just think when he does comedy, he's really funny. And I just think him as this hardcore trainer guy, but it's for eating. I'm already laughing just the idea of him doing like his De Niroisms and stuff, but it's about you'll know how to eat a cheesesteak. It's like, come on, and stuff like that. That would be great. I just think of all the what training exercises do they have to do? Do they have to put just buns and like bread and stuff and like get it wet and have to like ingest them quickly to like get their stamina going? And he's like standing there behind it. What are you doing? Come on, it's 3 more. There would be a lot of funny stuff there.
And then he has to say women weaken legs as well. He can't be with Mikey Madison. You got to keep that in there.
Yeah, I mean, what's the food spin on that? Women cause diarrhea. I don't know.
Women weaken gullets.
Women weaken your digestive process. I don't. But yeah, I just think it'd be fun. But again, it's Bong Joon-ho. It isn't a Naked Gun movie, so you still have a great actor. And when that moment comes, when he does have to be sincere and he has to sincerely motivate the kid and be there for him, I mean that he probably like mentored youth. Yeah, he's trained people for these weird competitions, but he's also of the neighborhood. So I think that he cares about this kid. And he's probably like the original Mickey, thought this kid had some potential, but the Chalamet character's probably gotten involved with the wrong types, and he's like turned his back on him a little bit. But now he has this opportunity in this weird fringe sport to mentor him, and I just think a lot of the same dynamics would be there, even though it'd be funny, and we get to see a little more of that slight Meet the Parents flavor, analyze this flavor of De Niro, which is always
all right. Dan, come on, man. Get a point here, man. Guess one of these characters.
I laid it up for you.
Come on.
Yeah.
What is your Mickey?
I'm going to go with Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte was in a movie called Warrior, and he had kind of a love-hate relationship with his 2 sons. One son went one way. He was overbearing with another son. Well, in this case, what you have Nick Nolte doing what he didn't like Rocky at first. You're just a chubby palooka, whatever. You're just a nobody. Nobody cares about you, and and then he sees how good he is at eating, and so he starts showing him better ways to digest his food, and the process of putting it in the mouth, and separate the steak from the buns, and put the cheese over here. So then you eat the steak first. You can do it. It's all you. You can do it. This is you're not a palooka anymore.
Spit just flying everywhere.
Yeah. And this crazy stuff. And then he teaches them techniques of eating from other countries and this and that and the other. And they have to train with other utensils maybe, or not have utensils. And we'll use Jeremy's the sticks that they eat with, maybe chopsticks. You eat the steak with the chopsticks, then you still have your water or whatever for your buns or your whatever. I can see the grizzled voice of that Nick Nolte voice going on, especially from Warrior. Yeah, I'm going with Nick Nolte.
All right.
And he was in Blue Chips, which he was a coach in that, and he was a really cool coach in that too.
All right, like it. I have to say, guys, I knew, and I just knowing Dan, I was like, he is gonna pick Nick Nolte. I was like, I just knew it, because that's just like great pick for a coach. Obviously, it'd be somebody that's just gonna yell at you, maybe even make you cry. it was either that or somebody like, I was thinking Gary Busey too would be hilarious. Like a Gary Busey type would be great. Tony, what you thinking on this? We either got Nick Nolte or Robert De Niro.
Nick Nolte, hands down. That's probably the perfect Mickey. If it was to do something like that, it's Nick Nolte, hands down. The perfect grouch, the perfect curmudgeon, the perfect he inspires them through his aggression. It's definitely Nick Nolte. I don't think I can say any more than that. It's definitely Nick Nolte. It works so well for that one.
And Nick Nolte can be serious too. He's
Absolutely,
done serious,
yes.
Right.
And for sure. So he didn't have to always be just on his ass all the time.
No, of course. Like he was in Streisand's Prince of Tides. He was very serious in that one. And that was really good. But yes, I'm definitely for Nick Nolte on that one. He can show compassion even when he's aggressive. And it's Nick Nolte, hands down.
And he's more, and I don't know where they're, I mean, I'm sure De Niro's from New York. He's actually from New York. So Nick Nolte, I don't, maybe he's from Philadelphia. I have to look it up. But Andrew, where are you following on this?
Yeah, I'm going with Nick Nolte as well. People, I think, forget because they seem to have this modern day perspective of Nick Nolte. But before the modern, older Nick Nolte, he was an elite actor. Like Tony just mentioned, Prince of Tides. That's certainly a serious, dramatic, romantic film. And but also another little caveat is, if you know Bong Joon-ho's film, there's always like one really eccentric character in there. I'm thinking of Tilda Swinton in Snowpiercer. I'm thinking of Jake Gyllenhaal in Okja. And I'm in Mickey 17. It seems like there's a couple of characters like that. Just this one weird, unhinged, eccentric character. And I guess we need to have one if we're going to have a Bong Joon-ho movie. And Nick Nolte, he can pull it off.
and you know, being that he's more of a side character than one of the main kind of three here, it would be better to have less of him than too much of him. Like the Craig Robertson choice would have been too much, probably.
Right. And I feel like Nick Nolte's character could come in, perhaps later in the first act or maybe even early second act. I mean, because I feel like we get a little bit of a younger Rocky in here working his way up and with competitive eating and stuff like that and whatnot. If anything, I don't know why I'm thinking of this. I mean, we're mentioned, we're talking about Rocky. I'm thinking of Carl Weathers in Happy Gilmore. How he kind of shows up and mentors Happy Gilmore. I mean, a completely different tonal movie than what we're going for, but still a mentor character who comes in and, mentors our main protagonist in the movie.
Yeah. I like it. I think it's unanimous here. I mean, I think it's just the type of just the voice, the character. I think it's a little bit more memorable for this type of role. And De Niro is a fantastic actor. I don't think when he tries to go over the top, I think he has a hard time. Like, he's a little stiff. I think it's hard for him to let go, especially in his older age. I think he's a little bit more reserved in his older age. I think he has a hard time being loose. So I don't know.
I'll just say it's interesting that you say that because I'm just thinking of him in Bad Grandpa. Then I'm also thinking
I didn't even see that movie because I knew what it was. So
but I'm just saying in terms of loose, Robert De Niro. Of course, he was in The Intern, where he becomes an intern in his later age. Yeah. I'm also
he's pretty reserved in that movie.
But remember he was in Rocky and Bullwinkle. I mean, let's talk about a comedy. He
was actually good at that, I'm gonna say.
I don't know. I just I think Nolte's got the kind of the character. You say him being him. He just has it. I think it works. So Dan gets one, man. He gets one on the board. He gets a character in the movie. He gets an actor in the movie. So we're gonna finish up with our title and tagline. If Dan can pitch a good title and tagline that wins us over, he can get co-ownership of this film with Jeremy. So let's see what the guys say. We're going to bring everybody in.
Kicking myself, by the way. I should have picked Tilda Swinton. It was right there. That would have been amazing.
That actually would have been pretty fun. You would have won. All right, guys. So it's coming down to this. Dan, you have a chance to be involved in this project if you can tell us a better title and tagline than Jeremy. So do you want to go first or second? Yeah, I see you still like kind of.
Second.
Second. All right. Give you a second. Jeremy, what is our title and tagline?
Well, I'm going to do a variation on another boxing movie, The Fighter, and this is just going to be called The Eater. It's simple. It's got a sports movie flavor. And then for the tagline, I want to do a variation on the original Rocky tagline, and it's going to be a 1,000,000 to 1 stomach.
Right. All right. Dan, The Eater, 1,000,000 to 1 stomach. Come on, man. You have a chance to be a part of this if you can just give me a better title and tag. You got this. Just like channel Rocky. You got the shirt. You got the poster on. Be the underdog here.
I'm gonna be called I don't know, Chow Down.
Chow Down.
Chow Down, and it's gonna be eat like it's your last meal.
Okay. All right. So we got The Eater. What was the tagline again?
1,000,000 to 1 stomach.
1,000,000 to 1 stomach.
1,000,000 to 1 shot was the original.
Yeah. And then Chow Down. And what was that tagline?
Eat like it's your last meal.
Eat like it's your last meal. Tony, what are you following on this?
I do like both titles and taglines, but I'm thinking of the Asian theme, and I think Chow Down does sound a little bit more.
I mean, it does.
Yeah, it does work in that perspective. The Eater is a great title too. It does it
gets to the
it's
point.
obvious.
Yeah,
gets to the point. Absolutely, but because it's directed by Bong Joon-ho, and it has an Asian actor in it as well. Yeah, I'm with Dan. Chow Down.
Okay, we got one vote for Dan.
Yeah.
He's stunned.
What's interesting is that was kind of my thought process as well, and that Tony kind of voiced it out for me. I also like there is the kind of running theme that Bong Joon-ho likes one one-word titles for his movies.
Yeah.
Granted, The Eaters too, but Thaws.
It does.
Maybe
yeah,
not.
Yeah,
Yeah, but still, Chow Down. I like that. I like that because it fits. It feels like a Bong Joon-ho title because it feels like it fits with Okja, it fits with Snowpiercer, Parasite. I know Mickey 17 is kind of too, so he's kind of breaking the theme there. But I like that. The tagline also could have used a little more work, but it's you got to get people with the title first, and then the tagline comes later.
Yeah.
So I like Chow Down.
Wow, I did not expect this. Yeah, I mean, like, it's tough. Because I think both of them work really well. I think obviously the tagline. I think Jeremy's tagline's better. It makes more sense. I mean, Dan's makes sense. Like you said, it needs to be refined. Eat like it's your last meal. He's an orphan. Like, it makes sense. I'm not taking it. It's just it doesn't flow well. It just doesn't flow well. I think but wow, I actually really like Dan's pick too. His title is so good. His title is good. Chow Down. I did not expect to be the pick. He just like said it, and he didn't even think about it. And I'm gonna have to agree. So
think about it. You're with a bunch of other orphans, and you're in a thing, and you don't know when your meal's gonna get in, and the people that are feeding you are like, all right, food's up, and you chowing down. You're eating fast because you.
Dan, you won. Let's not act like you had thought process on this. So you didn't win, but what you did was you did. Now you have co-ownership of this fantastic new movie called Chow Down, starring Timothy Chalamet, Mikey Madison, Jay. What was it? Lee Jung Jae. Yeah, I'm not gonna say. Great cast. Directed by Bong Joon-ho. This is gonna. I'm guessing it's gonna get nominated for an Oscar, many Oscars. Thank you guys for this. This was a fantastic game here. I want to say thanks to my judges, of course, Andrew Cabral as always, and Tony Meachus. Dan, Jeremy, thank you for playing such a competitive and fun game. This was great.
Thank you.
I had no idea this is what we're gonna end up with.
I'm glad
I'm glad to co-own this movie with you, Dan. I'll
definitely make one of my other writers on my website review this movie because I sure as hell wouldn't review it.
Well, I can't wait to see this in theaters in the future. Thanks, guys. And
Thank you.
we will see you on the next mutation.